does it really mean to be happy? What does it really mean to feel content? I got to tell you, a lot of you are getting it wrong. But before you can do that, you have to be tired of your own shit. If you're not, you will not find that. Let's chat. Check it out. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Positivity Experience. It's your girl, Lori. We are here in June. That is crazy. We are 6 months out till the end of 2025. I feel like we just got here. And that's why I'm choosing this topic for the very first week of June to kind of say, hey, we've been doing this for 6 months now. Well, we've been doing a hell of a lot longer, but we've been doing it for 6 months. So what are we going to do for these last 6 months? Over on Patreon, there is going to be an amazing worksheet that's going to really help you understand it, break that down for you, and it's going to give you a really good place to put it all together. So if that's your jam, go over to Patreon, patreon.com/The Positivity Experience. There you can find that. If you go to my website, you can book sessions. People have asked, and I guess I've got to say it pretty much every beginning of every podcast, little light housekeeping. There's also the free letting go work book that's over there. It's like 10 pages, and there's going to be workshops and a few other things coming down the pipeline. Not there yet. So you can just visit that. Obviously, it's positivityexperience.com, and it's everything that I just said to you is going to be in the show notes. So this is why I am so excited about this topic. And I know I say it every week because I am excited about every single topic that we talk about. I've lived it, I've experienced it, or I have worked with people who have. A lot of this, though, has been very personal to me, and this is one of them, okay? Happiness is such a funny thing. The happiness is so funny. Now, we can have happy moments. You can say, I had the best dinner that made me so happy. I had so much fun roller skating. I had so much fun sitting at the beach. That made me happy. Those are happy moments. Those are glimmers in your life. But happy, you have to be really careful. Happy is something that we tell ourselves when you're like, I just don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to feel depressed anymore. I don't want to have anxiety anymore. I just want to feel happy. Well, guess what? None of that. Well, first of all, we're going to have to temper those, and we'll chat about that. Until you're tired of your own shit and you stop blaming everybody else, you stop blaming your circumstances, and you stop doing that, it's going to be very, very hard for you to try to achieve this level of contentment. And happiness isn't the void of having problems. It isn't the void of not having some painful moments. It isn't the void of not having heartbreak. It isn't the void of those things. That's not what it is. But it's not allowing those things to control your narrative. Not allowing that. And until you are ready, I'm telling you right now, and I wrote a big chapter of this in my book. This is why this is all fresh in my head too. Until I was tired of being the victim in my own mindset. Until I was tired of being like, why did my mom have to die? Why was there molestation? Why were we living in a van? Why did I have to sell a whole bunch of drugs and do all of these things just to get through life? Why did I have to do that all before I was 17, 18 years old? Why me? Why that? On top of everything, having my intuitive abilities of, dealing with crossed over people and all of these other things, dealing with my ADHD, dealing with my depression, all of those things. Why did I have to have them? Why was that hand dealt to me? Why couldn't somebody have saved me? Why couldn't somebody have done that? Well, you know what? Until I stopped saying that. And that took a while. It wasn't like I woke up one day and was like, hey girl, you're done. No, it came to a point of really getting to the point of saying, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I had this illusion of happiness, what happiness was, to always feel elated and Pollyanna. No, that's because so many people aren't going to find it because you think it's something that it isn't. And that's going to be probably one of the biggest problems that people have in general. And you have to strip away this idea. You have to strip away this concept of it being a person. And I got to tell you right now, no human being on this planet, I don't care who they are to you, has the ability to make you happy. They do not. Do not get love and attachment mixed up, because that's what you're doing. You're going to get love and attachment mixed up. And that in itself, you're like, if I have this person in my life, this person is going to make me happy. That is not love, and that is not happiness. You got to look at yourself as a cake. I've used this analogy before. What does that mean? You're making a cake from scratch. Well, you're not going to do just one thing, right? You got to have your baking powder, got to have your sugar, your flour, your eggs, your butter, all of these little pieces that come in together to make a cake a cake. All of that is you. Your issue comes when you want your dad to be the eggs. You want this boyfriend of yours or this girlfriend or this spouse of yours to be the sugar. They are not that. And the more you seek it, the more you're going to feel disappointed, the more that you're going to be in a space of saying to yourself, oh my God, what is wrong with me? And before we go further, I know you're going to go, but trauma. Again, we understand that. Nobody's listening to this podcast right now that hasn't had trauma. They're not. You're just not going to find it. If you didn't have trauma, which in my opinion, this is an opinion, I feel like we've all had some level of trauma. Don't have to compare yours to somebody else's, but we've all had things in our lives. That being said, what are you going to do in understanding that you might, in order to find that contentment and that happiness, you might have to clean house. And I don't mean like literally clean house, though you can come over and do mine. You might have to say, is this situation, are these people like preventing my growth? Are they encouraging my growth? And they don't have to celebrate it, but encouraging means not trying to like throw a wrench in it. That's people-based, but happiness will never come from an external source. Again, you can have glimmers, but there's a lie about happiness. And here's the thing with that. Vacation. Love vacation. Love it. It is such a good reset. But you can't look at it and say vacation or it's just a vibe. You can't do that. That's not sheer happiness. Those are glimmers. You're never going to find that external balance of making you feel whole. And this is why many of you are here today. This is why many of you are my clients, because you're tired of feeling empty. That's how you're going to be effective. I've said it multiple times. Do not book sessions with me until you're tired of your own shit and you're ready to do the work and you're ready to accept and face things that may have been so hard, but you keep saying to yourself, I don't like this feeling. Well, what are you going to do about it? That's how you're going to start to find it, because it isn't a vibe and it is an external. Now, going back to the cake situation, you can eat a cake without icing. You absolutely can eat a cake and sometimes it's better. But you can also have the icing and you can put the pretty things there and it looks gorgeous. Those are the people around you. Those are the situations around you. They're enhancing the cake. They are enhancing you, but they are not the eggs and everything that's going to make the cake. That is the issue. And that's where attachment theory and everything else comes into play. It is the internal piece. And that requires emotional honesty within yourself. You have to get honest. All this time, have you been blaming things? Again, valid. We know that shit happened. I hear you. I lived it. You're living it. I got it. But we're here today. And if you keep waiting for this moment to just take things away, you don't want that to happen. I know you think you do. You don't. You don't. You got to stop running from things. And I say this every single time, and I say it weekly to my people, that I chat with weekly. Never run from your triggers. I do exposure, and I am very intently done exposure with people, with clients, because I'm going to take you back to the scene mentally, visually, back to the scene of these traumas. And we're going to keep going there, and we're going to keep going there, and we're going to keep going there, because you're you now. So I'm going to take you back as the adult you to be that person that you feel nobody came to save, but there you are as the adult. But you can't be afraid to discuss it. You can't be afraid to accept that relationship with your mom or that relationship with whomever may be done. And until you are ready, I didn't say you have to know how. That's where I can come into play for you. You don't have to know the how, but you do have to say, I am ready to live a happy life. And again, it's not in the void of things that do or do not happen. And I want you to do your journals. I want you to do your gratitude journals, your positivity journals. That's not going to be the sole focus of happiness, though. What we do in our gratitude journal, you guys know I created the 5 journal series, and I highly encourage you to go listen to that on my YouTube. And I think in the bonus episode on Patreon, I even broke down all of the journals. There's 5 of them. And there's a reason for that. Number one, I have ADHD, so it's easier to dismantle things versus dumping it all in one place. But when you're sitting in your gratitude journal, this is like kind of just a little housekeeping on the gratitude journal thing. Stop bulleting it. The gratitude journal shouldn't be just something that you're like, I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my life. What is that? That's a task list. No, I can write an entire page in my gratitude journal about this pen that I use that I got like from the grocery store or wherever it was I got. I love it. I love the color. I love how it glides. I love how it's easy to make me happy when I'm drawing with it or writing with it because of the color. You're writing things in your gratitude journal in depth. Why? And this is why if people go, I feel so repetitive in my gratitude journal, because you're doing it incorrectly. Now, I'd rather you do it as a bullet list than not do it at all. Right? And when I say incorrectly, maybe that's the wrong word. More intently and more beneficial is to do it not as a task list. Are you willing to sit down and write a whole 2 paragraphs on your mouse that my mouse is, if you see it on my YouTube, my mouse is like an ombre color. I can write 4 paragraphs on that. So if you're writing in your gratitude journal, you got to get real serious with yourself and stop doing it to do it. I'm going to go to yoga. I'm going to do deep breathing. I'm going to, I'm going to do these things. You're doing them, but you're doing them with the intention of feeling better. That's not what you're doing these things for. In order to find that happiness and that connectivity, you have to be in the moment of these things. And you never do it with the agenda of feeling more peaceful. That will be the byproduct. But if you're gratitude journaling, what you're doing is you are really getting in tune with things that you may take for granted, like we all do. Pens, sticky notes, anything. That's not too unimportant to journal on. So when you're in that gratitude journal, it is to bring you into the awareness of A, you're connecting to yourself. You are connecting in it. Matter of fact, as I'm recording this, there's a full moon today. And today, whatever. And I always put all my crystals out. I do my things. I always do my intentions at every full moon, sometimes every new moon. And there's a reason for that because I sit with the energy. I sit in it and go, what has worked up to this point? What has been some unrealistic expectations that I might have had? Now I'm much better in that area, but what have been some of those, unrealistic expectations? What can I correct? What can I change? Because when you're living happy, you're also growing. When you're living this level of happy, you understand what boundaries are. When you're living a level of happy, you can accept that, you know what? Everybody's going to have their own way in life. You can't project your stuff. So happy itself is always going to be an internal job. I know you've heard it and it's facts. Happiness can have glimmers in other areas, but when you're talking about full on internal joy, it's always going to come for you. Always. So here's the thing. If you stop bullshitting yourself and start getting honest and say, maybe I don't know where to start. Maybe I don't know who I am. Maybe I'm afraid. Great. That's amazing. You're giving yourself that awareness. You are saying, I need some help. Asking for help and asking for guidance is one of the most powerful, confident things that you can do. But you have to allow yourself that. Well, let me tell you why most people aren't happy. They're just distracted. So you're not lacking the happiness itself, but you're lacking boundaries. I have I'm a boundary establisher for just about everybody. I have so many things on boundaries. Boundaries are always for you, and boundaries have to be assertive and they have to carry consequences. So it's going to be really difficult for you to live a quote unquote happy life if you're walking around trying to people please people. And again, there's a whole podcast, an entire podcast on people pleasing. So when you sit in this space and you say, what am I giving energy to that I don't need to give energy to? What am I saying yes to that I absolutely don't want to do? What am I saying no to out of guilt? Like, why are you feeling guilty for saying no? So you're going to have a very difficult time finding this level of quality of life, of happiness and of contentment and of joy if you're walking around afraid to piss people off. When you walk into your villain era, you know that you're doing something very, very good. because people can no longer take advantage of the fact that you didn't have boundaries. So they don't like that. So they're either going to try to smear your name, or they're going to try to drag you down, or they're going to try to, inflict guilt like they used to do. And it used to work. To be fair, it did used to work. This is going to happen. So if you are afraid of pissing people off, then you're going to keep doing the same cycle. You can't be in a negative environment and then have all of this abundance and joy, because then you're constantly chasing it. Now you're constantly looking for those fast fixes. Fast fixes don't exist. I know it sucks. I've looked for fast fixes all my life, and there's no stone unturned, and you have yet to find it because it's not fast. It sucks, but it's not fast. So you have to say, am I tired of being dishonest with myself when it comes to relationships or situations that may need to change? What am I avoiding? Because until then, you're always going to seek some weird external thing. Purpose. That's another thing that people are having a struggle with. If you go back to, I do have a purpose podcast. I also have a core values podcast several episodes back. Just look for the title of it. If you don't know what your purpose is, and this is where people struggle because they go, I don't have a purpose. I'm depressed. I don't have a purpose. Well, you do have a purpose. But in order to find the purpose, it can't just be making millions of dollars, though I know we need money as a society. It can't be that. That's a benefit, but it can't be that. Your purpose doesn't have to be some over-the-top thing, and your purpose is purposes, because those purposes, the purpose will change in and out. It'll depend on where you are in your growth journey. So the problem comes when you go, I have no purpose, I have no purpose. Well, stop living in the victim mindset. Okay, like I hear you, so what kind of shit are we going to do about it? Because that's what has to happen. You're living in the problem. You're not focusing on the solution. And guess what? That's going to be hard. And that's okay, because people can do hard things. Humans can do hard things. You've done hard things. You've made it to this podcast. You didn't get here overnight. You've survived a lot of things, shitty, but you survived them. So you can't tell me you can't do hard things. Don't let that become an excuse for you. Your self-honesty. If you're lacking self-honesty, it's going to be this is why you get distracted. This is why you're lacking in happiness. You're not getting honest with yourself. You're not getting honest with yourself and saying, am I still blaming? Am I still not wanting to do it because it seems hard? Am I still making excuses? And again, there's no perfection. So perfectionism's fake. So you're not looking to kill this 100% of the time. Your goal, about 80%. And some days you're going to kill that shit. It's going to be 180%. And some days you're going to be like, ooh, got up, brushed my teeth, went back to bed. Ooh, that's my 10% and I'm good. But you want to balance it to make it an average of about 80%. But until you're honest with yourself, and until you say to yourself, okay, hey, let me really truly evaluate this relationship. Is it a negative relationship, or is it me? Am I the issue because I'm having this attachment issue and I'm trying to get them to do what I want them to do because this is what I need, but that's really an insecurity. And then they're not taking care of that insecurity. I didn't say neglecting you, but in your mind, that's where the problem comes to. It's not always a toxic relationship. Sometimes it's a relationship where you're like, wow, my expectations were kind of high here, and I'm not asking you not to have boundaries and know what your non-negotiables are, but you have to get honest with yourself and say, am I in attachment? Am I in insecurity? Well, what are you doing about it? If you're tired of feeling like everybody's going to screw you over, then that's where you know it becomes a you issue. And I've told you before, being a you issue is what you want. Because if it's a you issue, you can change it. If it's a them issue, you're held in some weird prison camp to them. So you always want you to be the issue because you can change that. That's the gorgeous part. You can fix that. You can course correct on that. Tolerance for discomfort that leads to real change. So here's the thing. If you're lacking the tolerance, because you are tolerant, in accepting the uncertainty and the discomfort, you will not find happiness. Oh, I don't like that. It's uncomfortable. Well, then you're going to stay where you are. You're going to stay where you are. You're going to keep looking to people for them to try to help give you this level of happiness. And that is where it's a big honesty. You got to say to yourself, why am I resisting the uncertainty? Is it because you're afraid you are going to lose your spouse? Meaning not lose them like they got hit by a bus, but you may distance from that. So if you're not ready to potentially lose a relationship, even though they're not items, but if you're not ready for that, then it's going to be really hard for you to navigate. Not saying you have to lose anybody, but I will tell you this, and it is a fact-based thing in the couple decades I've been doing this. Not everybody who starts on your journey are going to stay on your journey. The issue you have is you're trying to decide, and I mean, you do get to decide the role, but you're trying to decide on how to do it to bring this person along, even if they're not good for you, because you might not be fully aware of that. And you remember what I was talking to you about in chaos a couple episodes about a month ago. It's because it's familiar. That chaos isn't fulfilling. You just know how to do it. See, I know how to be on guard. I know how to be in survival mode. That's easy. That's not, I can blink my eyes and do that in my sleep. You know how to be in survival. You also know how to be in avoidance. You also know how to make excuses. You also know how to say, I know that this isn't good for me, but if they would only change, right? So now we start that nonsense where we're falling in love with this hope and this dream and this desire. And in that, there's always this, you're always chasing it like, look at me, show me I deserve it. So because of that, you're in that chaos. So when you're in the chaos, your body goes, hey man, I'm familiar with this. That's why so many times you're like, I'm bored. No, you're not. You might feel like you're bored, but your nervous system is finally like, oh my God, this has been a chaos mess. So since you don't really know how to be like, I feel good, I need to cause problems, you create the chaos because your body is used to that. Even though you know your adrenals are fatigued, you don't feel happy. You know the things that you need to do. Remember, we all do that. We all know some things that are going to benefit us. Do we do it? Yeah, not always. That's just part of being a human. Again, 80%, not 100%. And you're not unhappy because life is unfair. I know you think you are. You're unhappy because you keep repeating the same patterns that no longer serve you. Okay? Life in general is unfair. I mean, not all the time. It depends on how you look at it. So don't look at it and be like, oh, life is so unfair. Yeah, we know. But basically what that is, and I do a lot is talking about the universe and stuff with a lot of my clients. The universe does not care what you want, right? And you're not that smart, like calm down. You're not that smart to outsmart the universe because you're not going to put it down on paper. Like, oh, I don't want to write that down. Oh, I want to breathe that into existence. You don't think that the universe is like, what do you think? The universe is like, well, I don't know. They didn't write anything down. I don't know what they're doing. You're not outsmarting it. You can fake words. You can fake actions. You can't fake energy. I don't care how much you try. You can do the things. You can tell yourself all of these things. Your energy will never lie. This is why when it comes to couples who are like, I'm going to stay together for the kids, don't do that. Because those kids sometimes end up on the other end of my computer screen on my Zoom. And you might be like, well, we don't fight in front of them and we're not. They know energy. Stop making it seem like you can manipulate the energy to where people can't feel it. That's not true. So listen, fairness and justice, it's a screwed up thing. You will drive yourself crazy if you try to make life fair and make it make sense. It's just, you have to take things as they are. It is what it is. You have to accept it for where you are. Remember, I did that. I was so much of a victim mentality about my childhood and about my mom and about my dad and all of these things. Why couldn't I have a normal life? Why couldn't I be like everybody else? Why? Okay. I was also, to be fair, I was young, but this went on early. This went through all of my teenage years and early 20s. So it wasn't like I got like, hey, oh man, okay, you overthought that. No, it took a minute. And the only reason that it started to shift is because I was tired of my own shit. I was tired of feeling defensive. I was tired of feeling reactive. I was tired of blaming people. I was tired of looking for things and people to make me happy. I was tired of all of those things and so much more. That's not a judgment, and it's not for you to judge yourself, but it is for you to get honest and say, oh my God, what can I do? Because again, it was me. I was the problem, even though I wanted it to be everything and everybody else. Oh, trust me, I'd lived that way for a while until I had to take that honest look and go, well, I guess it is me. But you the key is to do it without ridiculing yourself or without judging yourself. That's where people struggle a little bit. And that's okay too, because again, you're not going to do this perfectly. Well, there's no real thing to perfect anyway. And those distractions are going to keep you always chasing a dog chasing its tail. What does it take to actually be happy? Well, you have to get radically tired of your own excuses. Matter of fact, this morning, I'm trying to get back into running. Okay. I'm trying and I'm making an effort. I'm not going to do it 7 days a week. I know that. This morning, and I'm going to tell you, I can start with my excuses every single morning to this day. Every single morning that I wake up, the first minute is, okay, well, you don't have to do this today. All right, well, you don't want to do that. Immediately, I cut that out the head. Now, I have to be much more aggressive to myself without judgment. And I do say, bitch, you need to get your shit together and you need to live your life the way you want to live it. Like, how do you want to live? Not what kind of excuses are you going to make? Now, that being said, I do have off days. Like, I'm allowed to take days off. Some days it's just going to be that way, but then I got to turn around and get up. I have signs. I have things all over the house that says your reason has to be stronger than your excuses. You will make excuses because if I said to you, hey, I paid all your bills for the month and everybody's taken care of. I'm going to send a black car for you at like 2 a.m. and you're going to drive 2 hours to the airport in this black car. And I'm taking you to the Bahamas and we're going to sit there. We're going to have our drinks and we're going to chill. You will get up at 2:00. You might not like it, but your ass will get up. You will get in that car and you will take that drive because it's fun. It's something you want. There's a reason I do my leg day on Monday. Legs are my least favorite things to do. And you got to be careful of telling yourself how much you hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. That's the negotiation I have to tell myself during the run, almost the entire run. Hey, this is good. You know that you're making effort. I'll do it even on the elliptical. Whatever it is I don't want to do, whether it's decluttering something, whether it's doing dishes, whatever it is, I have to remind myself, stop making excuses. Stop. But I can do that because I'm honest with myself. I'm like, oh man, my inner brat came to party, because your inner brat's going to show up. Oh, your inner brat's going to be like, hey, I'm here and I don't want to do it. It's kind of like if somebody says, hey man, don't do that. Or I'm going to tell you like, hey, I need you to do blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean in a good way. Like these are people who will tell you not to do something. You're like, oh yeah, F that. Watch this. I ain't going to do shit. Because your inner brat comes to play. Your ego comes to the table. You can't let your ego or your excuses get in the way because you're going to have a hard time finding that contentment. So you have to be, I'll try, maybe later, I'm too busy. Please stop saying I'm too busy. Stop saying I'm tired and stop saying I'm too busy. Those are or it's hard. Those are the three that I hear all the time. And I always help course correct. Stop telling me it's hard. Is it hard to stay where you are now? Is it hard for you to stay emotionally? We know it's familiar. Do you enjoy feeling this way? Well, you got to make a change. I mean, nothing changes until it changes. So you can't do that I'm too busy because there'll always be a reason to be busy. You also don't become happy by wishing, oh, I wish I was so happy. Oh, I wish this. Okay. Now, where can something like that come into like a benefit for you? Is we love visualization. I teach visualization. I love it. Looking at the outcome without expectation, looking at the outcome, seeing yourself in whatever role it is or seeing yourself in that situation, feeling it. What's the feeling state? Okay, so that's more alignment versus sitting there and going, well, I just wish I lived the wishing. Wishing was my thing. I wish I had this. I wish I was normal. I wish. Well, you know what? I can wish all day long. It's not going to change the fact. But you will become happy when you start to become happy when you finally say, I'm done abandoning myself. Because see, every time you say yes to something you want to say no to, obviously within reason, I would love to say no to paying taxes. Well, I can't do that. I mean, I guess I could. I'm not going to do that. So within reason. But if you are constantly abandoning yourself because you're so worried about this person's opinion, and what if they get upset, and what if they leave? If you being authentic as you're developing who that is, you might not know who that is right now. If you being authentic, quote unquote, make someone leave, bye. And if where you are, you're allowed to mourn it, But you got to be very careful of allowing yourself to go down this rabbit hole of I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, or I need them. Remember, anytime you're looking for, and this could be anybody, adult, kids, whatever. Anytime that you're looking to somebody to make you whole, you know that there's a high level of attachment there, and that's what you want to focus on. Why do you have that attachment? What did you lack? What are you seeking, and what are your expectations? What do you think happiness is? What do you think a healthy relationship is? There's a lot of times when people say, I just don't feel like I'm enough. I'm like, okay, well, that's fair. What does that mean? Well, I just don't feel like I'm enough. No, I heard you the first time. What does enough mean to you? Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, with this relationship, I'm just not, okay, so now here we go. This goes into the attachment. You're sitting there saying you're not good enough based on the fact that you want the relationship to be something that it isn't. And I promise you, you would much rather be alone. And quite frankly, sometimes it's amazing to be alone. You'd much rather be alone than have somebody taking up space for the sake of having somebody. Get honest with yourself right now. Let's play this game right now. Is there a relationship? I don't care who it is. Doesn't have to be a love relationship, friendship, family, whatever. Is there a relationship right now that you're holding on to out of hope it to be something else, after wanting this to be whatever this imagination of the relationship is? And are you refusing, resisting? Are you resisting doing some work in really kind of knowing this person's probably not going to be around? And what is that relationship? And why are you avoiding it? What is it? Because the why you're avoiding it can also come into ego. You ever have those people, let's say somebody breaks up with you or you see them or whatever, and now they're broken up, but they're still trying to figure out, well, who's that person talking to? What? Just because you don't want somebody doesn't mean other people can't have them. We know that's ego. We know that that's scary too. That's massive red flags. So you can see the difference between happy. Listen, people are people. People are going to people. Life's going to life, and you have a choice. Get on board with it or get off of it. But as you sit by and you watch life go on, people are going to keep moving. Life is going to life. So you feeling sad, you feeling as though you wish your childhood was different, valid, but sitting there and having life go on around you isn't unfair. It's factual. So you decide, am I going to learn the direction of where I want to go? Well, let me start with these pieces. Because happiness comes from acceptance too. You got to accept that these things are going to happen. You're done performing. You got to stop performing. Stop putting on the mask every single day, making sure everybody's taken care of. You're the fixer. You're the martyr. If you get hit by a bus tomorrow, everybody's going to have to figure it out. If you're done choosing chaos you got to be done choosing chaos over consistency, because you got to show up for yourself when it's boring, when it's mundane, when you're not seeing progress. You have to be consistent. Consistency is on top of so many other things. Now, here's 4 signs that you're addicted to. 4 signs. There's more than 4 signs. Signs that you're addicted to your own shit. You stay in cycles that drain you, but you still call them normal. You normalize these cycles that drain you because that's just what I've always known. We're not doing that. You got to get very clear, because if not, you're still addicted to your own shit. You intellectualize every feeling, but you never process it. Oh, this is just how I feel. Okay, well, what are you doing to process it? I just did one on feeling your feelings. You stop intellectualizing it, because now you're making excuses for your own behavior. You wait for motivation, which is fake. Oh my God, this is such a big one. You wait for motivation instead of building self-respect through actions. I don't care if you want to do it. How do you want to feel? What do you want to see for your self-esteem? Where do you want to be? Well, you better live that way. You don't have to even believe it right now. 80%. 80%. You have those times, you're just not going to hit the mark. And that is okay, because perfection's fake. You're going to have those other days that you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Great. And those are the days that are going to balance for the days that you may not feel that way. This is one too. Are you a chronic complainer? Are you complaining more than you are making a change? This is how you know you're not tired or you're in shit. You're still addicted to it. Complain, complain, complain. Everything's a complaint. Everything is this. Everything is that. Well, then you become an energy vampire and then you get mad because you're like, well, nobody is around me. Well, I mean, we have to take accountability. I already told you, I know, oh my God, I complained so much. Oh my God. Looking back on it, it's not judgment. It's a fact. I'm like, was I ever happy about anything? Everything was negative. Complain, complain, complain. I would have never been around me. I'm going to keep it straight real with you. If knowing how negative I was, now, granted, I did a lot of fighting, so it could have been people just didn't want to rock the boat. But I got to tell you, it was miserable. I know what it's like to complain. You're always looking at the glass half empty. You're always looking at what this isn't doing and how life isn't this. And you get up and there's traffic and, oh, the coffee was too hot. The coffee wasn't hot enough. Oh my God, you had to stop and get gas. And the person in front of you was going too slow. Didn't they know you were going to be late for work? Oh, the weather's too bad today. Like everything. You're like, oh my God. So are you ready to make a change without continuing to complain so much? Now, here's a big one too. You're sabotaging your peace because boredom feels unsafe. If you're resisting sitting with yourself, being bored, turning off your music, I do not scroll social media. Highly, highly recommend that you do not scroll social media. You can go on with intention. I'll go on, I look for recipes, or I'll go on. That's fine. But when you're sitting there doing the mindless scrolling, you are procrastinating. And there's a reason that these platforms do that, because that's the whole goal. The platform benefits from you staying on. So it's always going to give you that little bit of dose of like, ooh, you want a quick hit? Here's your dopamine hit. There's a reason. So you have to fight against that. Now, what it does feel like, what happiness does feel like, and it's not a constant high, it feels like stillness, not stimulation. Stillness, just sitting. You only stimulation. You're just stillness. Happiness is stillness. It feels neutral. It's not performance. It's neutral. Here you are. You're good. Every day isn't going to be blissful, but you're not getting reactive. And it feels like trusting yourself not to self-destruct when things are calm, because we will do that. When things get calm, we look for a problem. You're like, things are going good. How can I screw this up? This relationship's going good. Oh, I got to fuck that up somehow. That's because you're used to that chaos. So if you're going into real happiness, you have to be okay with stillness. You have to be okay knowing that your highs aren't going to be high all the time. Your dopamine isn't going to be hit. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to solve world peace. You're not supposed to flutter through life without having any pain or thoughts and feelings. No. Your nervous system is safe. You have alignment. You're intellectualizing things. Your internal dialogue is there, like intellectualizing your internal dialogue, not the bad thing, even when nobody gets it. Are you willing to be confident in your choices? And also, everybody doesn't need to know everything. Stop sharing your stuff with everybody on the planet. Grind in the dark, shine in the light, because people only see the story, not the glory, not the story. Anyway, so if you're constantly in this space of needing to prove yourself and your ego is getting some kind of way, you got to get honest with yourself and say, I'm going to do this even if nobody gets it. I'm going to be weird. I'm going to be quirky. I'm going to be this person. And if that means that certain people aren't around me, that's okay. Because it's all about alignment and connectivity, not attachment. And not that family first. Don't do that. That's something that was sold to you. Great in theory. But if a family member is toxic and they are negative and you feel unsafe, you do not have to have any interaction with them unless you choose to. Period. So you got to say, who am I? Well, in order to know who you are, you got to know your core values. You got to know what kind of boundaries that you deserve. Always remember they carry consequences and they're not individual. So the same consequence that you're going to have for the baker down the street and the banker down the street, you're going to have the same exact boundary for your mother. Boundaries aren't for them. They are for you. And what you tolerate will continue, and how you show up for yourself demonstrates what other people are going to be allowed to show up with. But if you're wishy-washy and you repeat your boundary, I told you I'm going to, why are we there? This is the consequence. I'm going to implement the consequence. You say it one time so people know what the boundaries are, But you don't keep reiterating it like, well, I told you that if you do this again, then you just totally dropped your boundary. And now you're saying everybody oversteps my boundaries. They do not hold that capability unless you just don't hold it. Now, how can you start to build a life that actually feels good? Audit your patterns. Pay attention to your patterns. What are you repeating that's keeping you in emotional debt? What level of emotional debt are you carrying? You got to get honest with yourself. Audit your patterns. Name the version of yourself you're sick of being. You're not judging it at all, and you're not ridiculing yourself, but you do need to name that part of you. Is it complaining? Is it this? Is it that? Is it attachment? Great, because you name it, now we can start correcting it. Get brutally honest about what you're tolerating in the name of not wanting to be uncomfortable. This one we can spend a lot of time on. Oh, and we're going to talk about that over on the Patreon. I promise you that. That's definitely going to be on the worksheet. So don't forget, go over there if you want it. But what is it that you're tolerating instead of embracing that discomfort? And then pick one thing this week and live on that for a while that you're going to stop negotiating with yourself about. Because a happy life does not come from feeling good. It comes from choosing better even when it feels hard. Good days, bad days, it's all part of happiness. You know, you're not broken, but you're stuck in this version of yourself that's outlived its purpose. Again, we were sold these stories. Like, remember, you're only going to be as healed as the people who raised us. So you can only be, like, you can't excel out of that early on, but you can restructure it. You can rewire it. Peace stops when you stop gaslighting yourself. Stop gaslighting yourself. You worry about everybody else gaslighting you, but you're the one doing it to yourself. And happiness begins when you finally say, I'm tired of my own shit, and I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to work through that. And until you get to that place, you're going to keep chasing it. You're going to keep falling in love with this fantasy of what you think happiness is. And, you know, this gives you some clarity of what it is not, because it's also not some weird place where nothing negative exists. That just doesn't exist. So you got to say, right now, if you really look at yourself without judgment, it's awareness and observation. That was tough for me until it wasn't. As I started to look and I started to go, well, wait a minute, I need to change that part of me. Why was I doing that part? First, I needed to know why I was doing it. What was it that I was trying to fill? What holes was I trying to fill? What was I doing? Why was I avoiding myself? I didn't have a lot of the tools. I had no idea. So that was going to take time, which I hated. I did not like being patient. I'm still not a massive fan of being patient, but I work with it. The problem comes if you, like, let's say we're doing sessions together and you're like, I've been doing sessions for a couple months. I'm still struggling. Yeah, you're gonna. That's your own unrealistic expectations, whether you're working with me or anybody else. It isn't fast, and you have to be consistent, and you have to show up when it starts getting boring. You have to show up when you're like, well, damn, I've been doing this. And now we're going to have to keep doing it. If it worked your way, you wouldn't be talking to me or somebody else. You wouldn't probably even be listening to this podcast. It hasn't worked. So you got to say to yourself, what am I willing to change? I promise you it's prettier on the other side. I promise you it is prettier on the other side, but it's work, and it is daily work. And you have to constantly reevaluate. You have to constantly say, where's my excuses coming? 80%. Are you trying too hard to kill it every single day? Well, I know one thing. If you're working with me and I'm giving you tools, I want you to go backwards. Yeah, I don't want you to keep going straight, or what the hell am I giving you a tool for? I'm giving you a tool and you're not put in a position to use it. How is it even a tool? Now it's just something you know. A tool isn't a tool until you are forced, in so many ways forced to use the tool. And sometimes you're going to be like, oh my God, I thought I could use the tool. That shit was hard. Good. And you're going to screw up again. And I'm happy you do. I'm happy you're backsliding, because now you have more information. Now you have more tools. Do not let your perfectionism, do not let your lack of patience, do not let your victim mindset get in the way of you showing up for yourself. Remember, we are not happy that a lot of people didn't show up for us, but we can't piggyback on that and start neglecting ourselves. Sometimes we can neglect ourselves more than anybody else ever neglects us. So there's a space and time without judgment, a space and time where you have to say, I am tired of my own stuff. You deserve that. You deserve joy. You deserve peace. You deserve happy, but you have to get clear on what it is. Stop seeking these fast fixes. You're worthy, you're valuable, but get tired of your own shit.